Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Publon. It is 10:05 on this Wednesday, November 25th, 2020. It's been a while since I've done a video like this, and I'm going to jump right into it. So here we go. This is what we're looking at for the last, 6 months or so since July. This red line is the observed temperature, and the black line here is about the average, and you're seeing that. And it's hard to look at it because we're at about a 40,000 foot view here, but you're seeing wherever these spikes kind of go. So the main things here are the black line, which is kind of the average, and that wobbles around. But this gray shading is basically a standard deviation plus two standard deviation. So basically, when you're within that, tends to be the normal back and forth. When you go outside of the gray shading, it's more extreme, more unusual, pretty rare. And you're seeing basically this time frame right here, one thing that pops out, but you also had some spikes down here where it was relatively cold. I remember reflecting on the last couple months, I know that I think in October, early October, we had some cold days. I'm looking at it here now, it looks like September. Yeah, it was kind of colder. And then we had that really nice stretch of warm weather right around the election time frame. So that's what you see here. And then now over the last couple days, hanging around normal. Okay, this is from Green Bay. So again, if you're looking at it from Marquette or Dubuque or Madison, Milwaukee, you might see things a little differently. But overall, I think that's generally a good barometer on that. This is the 7-day forecast looking forward. Today's Wednesday, and again, this is pretty boring in here. Pretty boring, pretty close to normal. But when we get to this time frame, we're going to be watching that closer for a potential storm system, potentially a major storm system in the eastern half of the country. We'll see how that works out. Looking at the temperature graph here for Oshkosh once again, just showing you. It is a little bit above average, but generally, to me, this is about what I would expect for this time frame or this time of year. And then overnight lows dipping near the freezing line. Again, that is location dependent. Just for old time's sake, MJO, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I really don't think this is a big signal right now. Maybe once it gets out here, if it does at all, maybe we can talk about it some more. The Arctic oscillation, the only thing I wanted to note, and maybe this brings back a little PTSD from last winter or last spring or last winter, yeah. The positive AO here over the last month or so, it's about a month. But before that, it was hanging around neutral, so I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't go back into this again, this strong positive. But we'll see what happens as a result. I don't think it's going to be strongly positive throughout the entire winter. But I don't know. It could be anything. So when I first opened up, I did mention it over the next 7 days. The next 4 to 5 days are not going to be too crazy. But when we talk about basically December 1st, which is next Monday, I believe, that early next week could bring a storm system for the eastern side of the United States. This is the 500 millibar level here on weather.ca.edu. Just showing you around now, this is later this week, but this to me is just kind of like, this is a bunch of crap going on in here. This is to me, nothing real well organized. You may have systems crossing or here or there, but it's not organized, this flow. As we go throughout the period, you start to see something take form here over the eastern United States. Again, closer to Sunday, Monday time frame in the 6 to 7 days from now. Oh, no, that would be 5 to 7. But either way, so in about a week or less, okay? We'll talk more about it. We'll get more clear. But this is a 500 millibar, and you're seeing something take shape here over the eastern United States. Especially this looks like this in the trough level. It's hard to see with the color scheme there, but it's the upper level trough, and it kind of spins up in here on the eastern side of the United States. We'll watch that. We'll go into detail. And then as it goes through the time frame here, just showing you, it kind of spins almost like a cutoff upper low there signal. But we'll see how that bears out. And then if we go through the period, I didn't see much going on beyond that storm to talk about right now, so I won't go there. So for days 1 through 5, this is the upper level, 500 millibar height anomalies. You're seeing kind of like a lukewarm. That's a positive 6 value there. Really, to me, that doesn't signal much. There's not not much interesting going on there. There's not much interest in there. Sorry. I don't know. I'd rather see some blues. Basically, blue would indicate more of a low pressure storm system moving through. So as we move to the 6 to 10 day time frame, now you're seeing somewhat of an upper level low. Remember, we talked about that just in a couple slides before. that storm system that takes effect here over the eastern United States. Yeah, I mean, and this is a pretty significant thing. And look at this kink you got going on here. But I mean, we're here up here in Wisconsin, and if you're watching from, I guess, the upper Midwest, you're kind of trying to figure out, how much of this storm are we going to get? Is it going to go through here? Like, is the low going to go through there, and then it's just going to snow in Michigan or Indiana and Ohio, or will it back up a little bit and kind of clip more of Wisconsin? Because I think, I mean, it just bears watching, and we are at about 144 hours, I think, from the event. So that could be something to watch. But here, you're just checking the difference between the European and the GFS ensembles, and they're pretty much in agreement. Okay, so I would say that 6 to 10 day time frame, you're probably going to have a storm system across the eastern United States. Okay, now let's go into a little bit deeper detail on this storm system. And again, I showed you the upper level to what that would look like. And here's that low again right here. The way this process works is it kind of goes up like this. The European has a low pressure system here that kind of goes in phases, and then for several days it just sits over in here and spins around, and it actually does a little retrograding and brings snow back this way into this area. And then again, all the models are going to look a little different, and I don't trust one over the other necessarily. I just kind of get a general feel for things, and I think the general feel is that there's going to be a storm there. This is the European. We can take a look at the GFS. This is off a little bit of an older run. Older meaning we're on the 12Z run. It's updating right now, but I'm looking here at the 060. So this is 6 hours old. Not a big deal when we're talking about a storm that's this far out. But you're seeing just differences in strength and location here at that time frame. Canadian, yeah. See, they're all a little bit different. So that's why we can't get too detailed. The GFS, I'm not really sure which one that is. I'm not real familiar with it. But look at this one, kind of shows, hey, there's a scenario where you might see that back building retrograding into Wisconsin. So that's why it's relevant. Again, looking at the upper levels, 500 millibar height and then vorticity too, which tell the same story. They're all kind of over the eastern United States, but not real clear on exactly where, which is to be expected. As far as temperature goes, the temperature anomalies you're actually going to see in that 6 to 10 day time frame. Remember, this is what that upper level pattern looks like in 6 to 10. The surface temperature reflection is actually going to be of a colder temperature across the southern United States. I mean, this is a big section of the southern United States. I mean, this is from, New Mexico there? All the way over to the, East Coast, okay? But up in Wisconsin here, it's kind of interesting that it's actually more of a average, if not a little bit above average temperature up in this region. Remember, you had that big giant kink going up into here. Okay, so this is like a Pacific flow off the ocean there, and then you get the polar flow going down and cooling off this section. So that's an interesting feature. That's why it may not make too much of a difference to us up in here, but they're definitely going to notice a difference over in here and then with the storm system over in here. So that's that. We could go take a look at the GFS in a little bit more detail here. We'll go just for the fun of it. Now remember, in comparison to the European, this was a little bit weaker at this time frame, but whatever, for what it's worth. You're seeing that low pressure kind of goes off into here a little bit. Oops, and we're pulling up the sound here. But if you watch it over time, it kind of retrogrades there, and then brings a chance of snow into Wisconsin. So it's worth noting. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. I would like to do some more. We'll just see how it goes. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.